This Hour Has 22 Minutes is a satirical examination of daily events. Some viewers may not share this sense of humor.
Warning. Roseanne Skoke is a member of Parliament.
A triumphant Team Canada returned from their celebrated trade mission to the Pacific Rim countries. Despite the much-touted successes, the trip was not apparently as rosy as reported. Some of the members of the team seemed quite confused and disoriented.
Canada is an Asian nation.
Even more disturbing, Jean Chrétien said this in Hanoi.
I am the first Prime Minister from America to visit Vietnam.
Okay, one liberal thinks Canada is Asia and another thinks that Canada is America. I guess it's that profound knowledge of world geography and solid liberal leadership that's going to haul this country out of the sludge at the bottom of the G7 and catapult us to the apex of the industrial world. And I am Marie of Romania.
Some more disturbing news tonight about Jean Chrétien. His record-high approval rating in the polls has led him to yet another strange conclusion. Chrétien believes that the more time he spends away from the country, the more Canadians will like him. And today, during a walkabout in Toronto's Chinatown, the Prime Minister disappeared.
Hey, I'm going right on you. Hoopty.
He grabbed a fish merchant's bicycle and quickly left security guards scrambling in the dust. So far, Chrétien's sightings have been reported in Australia, Hong Kong, and Boise, Idaho. Asked for comment, Chrétien's wife Aline pleaded that the PM phone home.
University students gathered on Parliament Hill last week at an organized Fun Day field trip. It was a beautiful sunny day in Ottawa for the playful and inquisitive crowd. First, they frolicked in a spirited game of egg toss with the cabinet minister. Then they practiced their finely honed communication skills. Finally, they ended the day captivated by a dynamic motivational speech on getting along with each other.
That's the invitation!
The students were so happy with the success of their demo, they faxed students in the United States and asked them to join in the fun. But the American students declined. They said they were too busy working to pay off tuition fees, which are 3, 4, and 5 times as high as Canadian fees.
Montreal's mayor-elect Pierre Bourque has announced that he will not accept the $100,000 mayor's salary. Bourque will, however, keep the car and chauffeur that goes with the job. But the new mayor has not reportedly yet decided whether or not to forego the kickbacks, bribes, or payoffs that traditionally go with the Montreal mayor's position. And a special congratulations going out to Mayor Bourque and also to the Garbanzini crime family, who will technically be running the city in the future.
Toronto is the home of Canada's first Level 4 laboratory, a maximum security facility to study the world's deadliest diseases. We are now joined by Doctors Vanderpook and Dimpledurk. Hello, doctors.
Hello, Sydney. It's great to talk to you.
It's great to talk to anyone, you know, because people don't like us.
Well, they like us until they find out what we do.
She says she works in data processing. I say, really? I study rodent-borne diseases first recognized during the Korean War. Would you like another drink? And boom, she's out the door.
Yes. It must be very difficult working in such circumstances.
No, we have our lighter moments.
Yes, we try to inject some brevity into our days.
like remember that one time we had this virus and it makes your head implode, and it came in and we had a little bit left over, so we took a little bit and we put it into Dr. Dada's coffee and chewed on after 2 cities.
Well, I understand that for security reasons you have 4 airtight steel doors that separate a series of interlocking pressurized zones leading to the lab.
Oh, yeah, but we usually prop the doors open with an old boot, so it's easier to get from point A to point B.
And what does the $2 million airborne spore detector do?
Well, it makes some racket.
Oh, yeah. When the windows are open, you can hear it ringing for about 3 blocks.
It's got the infected monkeys frightened to death in here.
There are infected monkeys there?
Oh, yes. Snowy, Blowy, Joey, and Moey. They've got the deadly filovirus.
Yeah, and Mopey, Dopey, and Lopey, they have the African tick-bite fever virus.
And Bruno, well, he's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, one of your favorite monkeys has died?
No, he jumped out the window.
He'll be back in a couple of days. He always is.
Has there been any negative public reaction to the plant?
Oh, no, the public loves us. Sure, we've got a grade 3 field trip coming over in about an hour.
They love the infected monkeys, the grade 3s.
We got to go now and child-proof the place now, Sidney. You know what kids are like.
Oh, yeah. Oh, does this break? Does that break? Oh, I'm itchy.
Well, Toronto, you can sleep well tonight knowing these deadly viruses are in capable hands. Good night.
This hour has 22 minutes is brought to you by Old Boy Vodka. Old Boy Vodka. You can't smell it on your breath.
Microsoft Corp Chairman Bill Gates has spent a record $40 million Canadian for the Codex Hammer, a manuscript by Leonardo da Vinci. Although created in the 1500s, the document is filled with detailed drawings of submarines, helicopters, and irrigation systems. Even more incredible is the back page of the manuscript, where Leonardo included drawings of X-ray glasses, stink bombs, and joy buzzers.
The Progressive Conservative Party is on the comeback trail. The PC convention was held on Wreck Beach in Vancouver last weekend. The Tories resolved to put a new face on the party and create a more appealing profile. Donations can be sent to the PC Miracle Wish Foundation.
The Parti Québécois claimed this week that the federal system costs Quebec $3 billion annually. The federal government was quick to dispute that figure and produced their own study that concludes Quebec actually benefits by $6 billion a year. At a hastily convened finance ministers' conference, both parties agreed to split the difference and lay the remaining $1.5 billion on Gumshoe Granny to win in the fifth at Blue Bonnet. The nag came up lame, both parties lost their shirts, and now the boys are fighting over whose study is the biggest.
Well, she's up early and she still hasn't seen her shadow. Here's this hour's Prairie correspondent, Connie.
As a Canadian, I'm pretty busy, eh? If I'm not Ewan Wood or drawing water, I'm pretty sure to be laughing up my smug, self-satisfied Canadian sleeve at the goings-on down in the States. How about those Republicans, eh? What a witch's brew they're cooking up. Eye of Newt, Ancient Toe of Strom, Jesse Helms' Sting, Bob Dole's Pineapple Ring. In a Congress of powerful trouble, like a hell broth, boil and bubble. Hey, dress me up in a Mountie suit, stand me up in the middle of Portage and Maine, and hit me continuously with oncoming traffic, eh? But it's not like they needed to make a further shift to the right down there. I mean, under the supposedly godless left-wing liberal Democrats, America hit an all-time high in incarcerations. Over 1 million Americans are serving time in federal prisons alone. And they say if the trend continues, by the year 2053, there'll be more Americans in jail than out. Oh, wow. Way to live in the land of sweet liberty, USAers. And down in the States now, the number of shelters for stray dogs outnumbers the number of shelters for women 3 to 1. Wow. My basically bland Canadian mind can't even begin to comprehend the kind of carnage that a Republican-dominated Congress is going to wreak. Oh, but hey, maybe foul is fair, and fair is foul. I mean, maybe their Republicans are going to turn out to be just like our liberals and do the exact opposite of whatever it was they said they were going to do when they were running for election. Oh. then there won't be anything for us to laugh up our smug, self-satisfied sleeves at all.
This hour has 22 minutes is proud to present media pundits Stuart Steed and Steve Steele with The Right Answer. Men, we salute you.
Okay, let's start it all off with Party Quebecois says that we should pay for Jacques Parizeau's new mansion. How much? 800,000.
How about I kick in some money for his cemetery plot?
Or maybe cab fare for the next crackpot who wants to blow the place up.
Jean Chrétien opens Canadian Embassy in Vietnam.
What's he gonna do next? Stop the secret bombing of Cambodia?
They already did.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's send in the peacekeepers. 10,000 students protest on Parliament Hill.
Come on, Jean, put your newfound Chinese know-how to work here. I'm not saying crush them with tanks, but if you're gonna talk the talk,
you gotta walk the walk. Hockey strike continues. Players against owners. Where do you stand?
I can't decide. Millionaires against millionaires. It's too upsetting.
Hey, millionaires, in the words of Rodney King, can't we all just get along? LA Kings owner Bruce McNall heading for white-collar prison.
Oh, white-collar prison is murder. You can't get a 10 o'clock tee off.
They don't know a gimlet from a daiquiri.
Come on, let the time fit the crime. It's just creative accounting, for God's sakes. What was his take?
236 million Yankee dollars.
I like it.
You gotta.
And that's the right answer.
The following is a free-time political broadcast. On behalf of the Newfoundland Separation Federation, Jerry Boyle.
Hello, I am Jerry Boyle. Do you think that you would make a good ambassador to Asia, even though you are not allowed on any international flights? Did you once wear your wife's kimono after you lost your own dressing gown in a house fire? Well, if the answer to these questions is yes, then you are like me. So next election, why not pencil me in for Asian ambassador and get me speaking out on all your Asian Pacific concerns? People say, go away, Jerry. You do not know anything about Asia. The most exotic trip you've ever been on is up to Thunder Bay, coaching the women's slow-pitch softball tournament. Well, perhaps it is true that when it comes to protocol, Jerry Boyle is rather rusty. Perhaps at the last Government House Tea Party, I did have too many sherries and ended up stuck in the Lieutenant Governor's chimney. So who better to thrust into the high-pressure job of ambassador? The time is now, my friends, to consider me as I throw my ambassadorial hat in the election ring, figuratively speaking, of course. And I will now announce my new campaign slogan. Jerry Boyle for ambassador. The pressures can't get him, for he's already snapped. And remember, if you can mark an X, you are my kind of people.
Stocks may be dwindling, but the cocaine harvest is bigger than ever. 750 kilograms of the drug were captured off Nova Scotia last week. The sea snow was weighed, blow-dried, and then shipped for sale in Beverly Hills, California. On the West Coast, it's considered to be a delicacy among game show hosts and spokesmodels.
Taking a page from Brian Mulrooney's book, the Liberal Party of Canada has introduced multi-level party membership. The more money you have, the more favors you get. Prime Minister Chrétien announced the program this week in a video sent out to party faithful. Here's an excerpt.
Membership has its privileges.
The video goes on to explain that for $10 you get a lapel pin, and for $1,000 you get a dinner with a cabinet minister and one personal favor. And for $5,000 or more, you get dinner with the Prime Minister, two personal favors, a Senate seat, and you're allowed to slap Brian Tobin around for an hour.
Well, he's back, and with his blue chip for 30 days of sobriety. Here's this hour's very own Dakey Dunn.
One time, I lived down to the club, knocking back a few with the boys, dialoguing the babes, scoping out the hard bodies. But then, I discovered books and a good 12-step program. You gotta be careful with books, though, boy. They says booze is cunning and baffling. Take this book. This is a bosky gnarl of a black forest to get through. No pictures and graphs, I'm not ashamed of saying it, would choke a small pod of mature sperm whales. And what this pile of mashed wood chips has to say is that all white guys are 15% smarter than all black guys. Now, granted, I don't really know any black guys, but I defy anyone to show me a guy, and I don't care what color he is, who's 15% more stupid than Grimes O'Neill, and I'll show you a guy who's in grave danger of drowning like a turkey if he's left out in a rainstorm. Then there's another book. It claims Protestants in Northern Ireland are 15% smarter than Catholics. Now there's a statistic that holds some water. And I know from personal experience that repeatedly taking blows up the side of the head from various and sundry priests and Christian brothers during my short but illustrious school career did very, very little to increase my brain power or intellectual ability. Even now, when I shakes my head, can you hear that? Something's loose. Can you hear that? Oh, jeez. I'm reading too much. Oh, I'm gonna pass out here. Hey, who needs to drink when you can get the same results from reading? Whoa!
Ear to the Ground presents Leonard Cohen's younger brother Bernie and his music for people who like their Cohen a little upbeat.
You put your left foot in, you put your left foot out. Suzanne brings you oranges and you shake it all about.
Ear to the Ground presents Leonard Cohen's little brother Bernie and his homage to his brother Leonard.
There was a man who had a girl and Marianne was her name. Oh, so long, Marianne, so long, Marianne. It's time we began and Marianne was her name. Oh!
Leonard Cohen's little brother Bernie, Ear to the Ground.
70% of respondents in a recent This Hour poll say that after his first year in office, they have a positive opinion of Jean Chrétien. 21% have a negative opinion of the Prime Minister, 3% don't care, and 1% are wondering why Kim Campbell is looking so butch lately.
2 years ago, Maritime Tell introduced a televoting system which was used by Nova Scotian Liberals to elect a new party leader. It failed miserably. Last weekend, the Alberta Liberal Party used the same phone-in voting system in its attempt to choose a leader. Party President Brendan Dunphy said, "It's been a disaster." After investigating, MT&T traced most of the voters' calls to South America. Here, confused Brazilians are seen pondering, who is this Grant Mitchell? Then, in a turn no one expected, Mitchell won the Brazilian presidency by a landslide. In response to the myriad of user complaints, a Maritime Tell spokesperson simply said, "Reach out and touch this, la."
Well, Christmas is just around the corner, and before you know it, you'll be facing crowded malls and toy stores. We go now to the Toy Testing Council, where Ms. Diana Tuffington, an independent toy tester, gives us the popular rundown on popular toys this season. Hello, Diana.
Hello, JB.
I'm just going to mention a few toys, and you give me an immediate response. The Power Rangers.
Potentially one of the most dangerous toys on the market, JB, responsible for millions of deaths in the Prince Edward Island area alone.
Really, my nephew, he loves them. He plays with them for hours.
All right, if you call running about with wild abandon, jumping up and down, imagination's gone wild, fun, fine.
Okay, we'll just scratch that off the list. What about Mindy the Fashion Doll? Now, she has a thicker waist and smaller breasts than Barbie. Surely this is a doll for the 90s.
She wears a glittery pink gown. She comes with golden wings. The message to little girls is be compliant, be pleasant, eventually leading to domestic violence and rape.
By the sounds of it, Ms. Tuffington, You don't really like toys or children. For that matter, you probably have problems with a simple teddy bear.
Teddy bears are fine, as long as Mummy or Daddy carefully removes all eyes, ears, nose, mouth, ribbon, and fur.
But that would leave something that looked like a fetus.
Exactly. Great toy, very educational. Not on the market yet, fingers are crossed.
Well, what kind of toys do you approve of? What would be the ideal toy?
A large, lumpy, older doll, pendulous breast, stretch marks, no smile, gap teeth, fuzzy hair, gray sweater, gray skirt, purple scarf.
But that doesn't sound like a toy at all, Ms. Tuffington. It sounds a little like you.
Precisely. Something that would prepare the child for the inevitable onslaught of life, pain, misery, childbirth, divorce. He'd gotten his degree. I was 36, 4 small children. She was 19, small breast, thick waist. Where does that leave me now?
A bitter, rejected toy tester?
Bingo. And speaking of bingo, JB, dangerous.
Well, unfortunately, we are out of time.
Possibility of choking.
Goodbye. We'll talk to you again next season. Goodbye.
Archaeologists have unearthed the fossil of a dinosaur egg believed to be over 80 million years old.
It is the oldest fossil of its kind ever found. Along with the ancient fossilized egg, scientists also found a film reel containing the first episode of Front Page Challenge.
And the special mystery guest was Nova Scotian Senator Alan McEachen.
This week is a big anniversary for the 52 members of Parliament elected just 6 years ago. They now qualify for cozy pensions that will cost taxpayers $53 million. In a related story, the 380-odd thousand Canadians who entered the workforce in the same year have yet to qualify for anything.
Well, that's the way we saw the world this week. For all of us here at This Hour Has 22 Minutes, I'm Milton Nash. Good night.
Good night. There was a man, and he was bad, and nobody wanted him, so he quit, and a woman took his place. But it was too late, and then another man came along, and the man, he said that he'd do everything that the other man didn't do, and so then he became the king, only different. But then the king, he just changed his mind and did all the same stuff. So really, the king man is just like the other man, only the same. And now, because of the man, naps are shorter, and the daycare is closed, and I stay at home with Mom's new boyfriend, who's a man and is always asleep and doesn't like to play games.